How can you explain global warming to someone that doesn't believe it's real?
Ah, explaining global warming to someone who doesn't believe it. It's a question of explaining science, and it's basically the science is so proven. It's like for me, it's like how do you explain gravity to someone who doesn't believe it? Well, you could drop something and watch it fall. In the case of climate science, I think where I usually start with people to make it familiar to them is to start with what they learned in school, which was photosynthesis. That green leafy things absorb carbon dioxide and give us oxygen. And we breathe in oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide. Obviously not pure carbon dioxide because pure carbon dioxide is toxic, but small amounts of carbon dioxide we exhale. And it's this balance between what the green leafy things give us in oxygen and what we exhale in carbon dioxide that over thousands and thousands of years have allowed human civilization to flourish. But it has to stay in balance. So when we, by digging up what were once green leafy things, fossil fuels were once vegetation. So coal, oil, gas, what we're doing is releasing in huge bursts carbon dioxide that was sequestered and held out of the atmosphere for millennia. And we are swamping, overwhelming the ability of the green leafy things in the world, the ocean's plankton, our forests. We are overwhelming the capacity of the world's plant life to absorb our carbon dioxide and give us oxygen. So we have changed the chemistry of the atmosphere. But when I explain it to people, I start with something they already know is true and walk them through it. Because if they're just told burning fossil fuels is causing global warming, then they get all these other ideas like, oh, well, no, maybe it might be sunspots. Or maybe, it's just fundamentally, we know that if it weren't for the greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, this planet would be too cold for any life at all. And that greenhouse effect is actually a positive thing that humanity has benefited from for all of our existence since we first stood up and walked as the next thing up from monkeys on the plains of Africa, when we became Homo sapiens and stood up and walked and took over the planet. Every single human being on Earth, has DNA from Africa. We all started on the plains of the Sahara and the Serengeti, and we got up and walked, and it took us thousands of years to walk over all of the planet and then to become all the different kinds of humans we are. But in all that time, we wouldn't have had a snowball's chance in hell if it wasn't for the greenhouse effect that kept enough of the sun's radiative heat close to the surface of the planet that the planet's warm enough to sustain life. But just as the greenhouse effect in balance sustains our lives, the greenhouse effect out of balance with the risk of runaway global warming that would heat up the planet so much that we couldn't stay here and we don't have any other place to go. That's easier to understand for people when you take them through it from stuff they already know is true because they learned it in school and walk them through it. At least that's how I try to explain it. So it's a great question, and I don't know if my answer helped you, but I have to go to Parliament right this second, which is a drag because I really enjoyed chatting with you a lot.